We'll go ahead and get started with the second panel. The first witness here is Mr. Dalton. He currently serves as the Chief of the Engineering Construction Director at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. He is responsible for the execution of over $10 billion of design and construction programs for the Army, Air Force, Department of Defense, other federal agencies, and over 60 foreign nations. Welcome, Mr. Dalton. Thank you for your service, sir. Sitting next to him is Mr. William Guerin, the Assistant Commissioner of the Office of Construction Programs at the GSA's Public Buildings Service. Mr. Guerin is responsible for the construction of the GSA's more than $1 billion per year of capital construction programs, including the design and construction of federal buildings, land ports of entry, courthouses, and other projects for the nation's landlord. He is also the GSA's Recovery Program Management's Recovery Executive, overseeing the timely and delivery of high-performance green building projects worth more than $5.5 billion, which I think together we got about $20 billion worth of management on this panel. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here. And the final witness is the Mrs. Jean Hewlett, is the Acting Associate Administrator for the Capital Access Office of Surety Guarantees at the SBA. And she manages and oversees the SBA loan programs and is here today to talk about the bond surety program and specifically 3534. So with that, we'll begin, because it says so on the paper, with Mr. Dalton, even though he's sitting in the middle. Mr. Dalton, fire away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member Chu. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today to testify before this committee. I especially appreciate the opportunity to sit and listen to the previous panel. It's always interesting to hear what our industry partners think and offer as suggestions. Certainly, small businesses are great value to this nation, and we in the Corps will continue to do all we can to promote those small businesses and to help to grow those. During the FY11, the Corps exceeded its small business goal of 35%, and we actually awarded 42% of our contracts to small businesses. This really equates to about $8 billion to small businesses, and of those, the $8 billion, $3.3 billion of that was to construction as prime contractors. In addition to that, the Corps' prime contractors awarded a high degree of their subcontracts to small businesses. The exact number is about 63% of the subcontracts went to small business subcontractors. But having said that, the Corps continues to look for ways to improve its relationship as well as the help to grow those small businesses into large businesses. Today I'd like to just talk about a couple of those what I would classify as sort of internal hindrances or obstacles for small business. One would be that in a lot of cases, certainly not all cases, but small businesses may lose out on opportunities to actually influence the acquisition process because they don't respond in all cases to sources sought the synopsis. And what I mean by that is if we get the 2 or more small business contractors, then we will set aside that acquisition for small business. And so we certainly would encourage small businesses to pay attention to that. The second is that in some cases we have companies that will focus more on the small business certification or the 8A certification when they submit proposals, rather than focus a lot more on the quality that they bring to the project, their past performance, their current, their experience, etc. So those are the kind of things that we talk to small businesses about to try and continue to encourage them to put together better proposals. But in addition to that, the things that you're interested in here today, certainly the bundling aspect of it that you talked about, the Corps of Engineers does not bundle contracts, but I think what you're referring to there is the consolidation of contracts, and so we do consolidate contracts, but the rules we follow are very close to the rules you would follow if, in fact, you were bundling contracts. And so probably get a chance later to maybe discuss that a little bit more. Performance and payment bonds or surety bonds, we certainly require those for acquisitions over $150,000, and so far we have discussions with that with our small business community, but we are sensitive to it, and we try and adjust our acquisition sizes to ensure that we don't do something that detracts or takes away from small business opportunities. The last thing I'll mention here is that with regard to prompt payments, we actually have paid 98.5% of our contracts had timely payments. We pay contractors, prime contractors, within the 14 days, construction contracts as required, and our subcontractors, a certificate is required from prime contractors that say they have paid their subcontractors before they submit a request for payment to us. And so finally, I'd like just to close and say thanks again, Mr. Chairman, and for allowing, and the committee for allowing us an opportunity to come here and try to help you address the problems that you're doing.